Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm really glad you're here. And my guests today are Jennifer Iliana and Kyle Therese Cranston. And thank you guys so much for being here. I'm glad you're here. And I'm going to read a little bio. Both Jennifer and Kyle have been guests here before. Um, and I have those links below. Jennifer was on in December, and Kyle was on last summer, and then again a couple weeks ago, talking about the tarot cards and readings. And today we were going to talk about ideas of how energy healers can work together in a coordinated effort for their clients' good to amplify the healing. And Jennifer and Kyle both have their own separate businesses, and then they have a joint venture where they work together. Jennifer is a spiritual coach, a registered nurse, and an intuitive healer that is certified in alchemy, crystal healing, elemental healing, soul shifting, soul coaching, oracle readings, manifestation guide. She's an oracle and spirit channel, a living astrology practitioner, sound healing, angel numerology, and Reiki. And there's probably other things too, I imagine, right, Jennifer? And then Kyle is an expert tarot and oracle reader. She's also an intuitive spiritual consultant who channels profound messages from angels, spiritual guides, and departed loved ones, and the archangels to offering divine insight, healing, and clarity. So those links are all below. They're separate links, as well as their joint Facebook page that they have that you can join. And also, I put in there, I hope you guys didn't mind, they do a joint reading, oracle card reading or tarot card. I'm not sure. You'll have to explain that every month. And I put in the link where people could sign up for
Thank
Mays.
you.
So
Thank
that's
you.
down below also for anyone. And they give a really super discount price for their monthly reading. And so anyway, let's go from here. Jennifer and Kyle. Kyle, since you were here more recently, let's let Jennifer go first. Talking about your own personal business a little bit, and then Kyle, and then together you can talk about your joint venture.
Yeah, so thank you for having us. So I do have my own business. It's mostly online. I do have a website you can go on and see all the services I offer and book your sessions through there. I recently this year have started to do in person. I have collaborated with a local metaphysical shop and I'm doing Sundays in person readings. And I'm also hosting monthly workshops there on the various topics that I'm certified in. And I'm currently collaborating with another practitioner in teaching an introduction to magic course because we noticed that a lot of people come to the workshops are asking a lot of basic questions. And I feel that because we have so much information available on the internet, people assume people have a knowledge base on just practices and magic and energy and stuff like that. And I said to this other practitioner, I said, I really think that we need to nurture the new generation of magicians and ensuring that they have accurate information and then learning from reliable sources, especially nowadays with ChatGPT. I mean, there's so much out there that people can get lost in so much information. So I've taken my responsibility very seriously to nurture the next generation the way that other practitioners have nurtured and cared for me. So I find myself really stepping into a teaching role, a facilitator role, and making sure that I can be a source of guidance in providing the right information because I find a lot of misinformation out there. A lot of people are using fear to misguide people and the way that spirituality is. And I just want to make sure that I'm part of the solution and ensuring the right information gets out there.
Sounds really good. Yeah. I think that's important to nurture that knowledge. Yeah, to I knew nothing. and until all of a sudden, bam, I was open to it, and then learned everything. And it's like, yeah, people need to know. It would be
Yeah.
good to start out early. Kyle, would you want to talk a little bit?
Very similar to Jennifer, I have my own business where I do readings. I do use cards, but I feel like I do so much more than that. Like that, they're just my channel. They're just my vessel. So I use tarot, a blend of tarot and oracle cards to get just to kind of jumpstart the information, and then things start coming through. I'm certified like Jennifer in soul coaching, oracle card readings, and I try to actually blend that. I don't like just use like regular soul coaching cards. I actually kind of blend it with tarot and oracle, because once you kind of have the knowledge base of how to be a soul coach, you can kind of use it with any kind of tool, you know. So I also am a medium, and I do my readings online. I blend also angel numerology with my readings as well, because I feel like that just gives you even more information. I think I talked a little bit about that when I was last there with the tarot. So I do intuitive readings and mediumship, and I started doing crystal prescriptions because I've gotten really into crystals lately. And I do a lot of my stuff online. I think I've said that like 3 times. Sorry. And then I also work at a witch shop in town called Village Witch, where I've been there for about a year, and I read there about twice a month, usually on a Saturday. I do their night market on Saturday nights, and you can book sessions with me if you're local there, or I also do my online stuff as well. And then trying to think of what else. I also teach classes there too. I've taught intuitive tarot. I'm working on a past life course that I'm going to teach. And then I started kind of doing lectures at the local fairs. I'm going to do one on the archangels in June, and then another one in July on the archangels. I can't do the archangel ones at the witch shop because they're a little that doesn't fly there. But I do get a lot of people that come in, surprisingly, that are open to angel guidance. I always ask, I'm like, are you okay with angels when I'm reading for somebody? And if they say no, I'm like, okay, let's call them guardians or guides, and then if it's someone that's into them, I'm like, sweet. And I bring it on with all the angel knowledge. So, but yeah, like Jennifer, I love teaching. I've been teaching for years. I was a teacher. I taught 6th grade. I taught 8th grade. I taught college. And then I taught adults creative writing for years in Boston. So teaching is it's fun when you have a group that like wants to learn, So, and that's what we do a lot. Speaking of kind of bridging the gap to our group, that's what we do a lot in our group readings too. We always have a theme of the month in Mystical Explorers that we do. And we usually co-teach. Like I know this month is going to be Jennifer, because it's stuff that she knows a lot about, the astrology piece. But we're going to be working on some other ones that I can have more of a teaching role as well with her.
All right. So shall we dig in then, and how maybe you guys work together in your readings, and then from there we can bridge, perhaps we can be helpful in others and wanting to begin to collaborate and think about ways that other ways that can we can all work together, right? Or you can find that person that you work well with and things. So,
well, should we talk about how we met?
Oh yeah, I'd like to hear the story. Sure.
So we were in Denise Lynn's soul coaching oracle class, and it's a big Facebook group, and we have to do 88 readings for each other, or for anybody. They have to be free practice readings. So we met by Jennifer posted she needed someone to partner up with to do some readings with, and that's how we met. And we just became really good friends. And then fast forward a couple months later, I find out that she's good friends with one of my husband's best friends.
Oh, okay.
So
that's nice to have a physical connection.
Yeah, my husband's girl best friend. So.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I just love the world, you can't make this stuff up.
And your mystical exploration, is that what
Explorers,
it is?
Mystical
Explorers. I know. I apologize because I know I'm a group of it. I'm a member of it. So
I was going we were going for like a Goonies kind of.
Yeah, well, it's good.
It kind of reminds me of the Goonies.
You've only done that about a year, right? The Facebook page? Or
Yeah,
maybe it existed longer under a different setup or
Yeah,
something.
we
yeah,
started off as just doing Facebook Lives because we were just trying to get people to our own business pages. So we just started doing these Facebook Lives together. And I don't want to speak for Jennifer, but I found that when she would be reading for somebody, I would start getting all these downloads and just like so I feel like when we read together, we're just so much stronger because we either get like different insights on the same thing or a person will say, "Hey, I have two questions," and so we'll each tackle one in the group
Okay.
yeah,
reading, which
Yeah.
is fun too.
That's kind of an additional affirmation then, or confirmation
Mhm.
for who you're reading for, that, oh, this really is right on target then.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I know
Okay.
when she's talking, I'm sitting there writing stuff down,
yeah.
getting
And I
insights.
think for the person is great because you get two different readers that have two different sets of talent. So you're getting a lot for your time. And we're able to
Mhm.
go a little bit deeper than if you were just, you know, if one person was reading for a bigger group, because now we can
Mhm.
ping pong off each other. And I think it really benefits the person a lot.
So you do that through Zoom sessions, or I mean,
Mhm.
because I know
Yeah.
physically you guys live quite far apart, right?
Yes, I'm
We
in New York.
do. I'm in Kansas, originally from Chicago and then Boston, but I'm in Kansas.
Yeah, so you do it by Zoom, so then you each use whatever oracle or tarot card that you're led to use that day or whatever?
Yes.
Okay.
I
I
consult
have
my
yeah,
decks. And I
yeah.
ask them who wants
Okay.
to come with me today,
Right.
and I'm drawn to a specific deck. I've actually had sometimes decks have fallen, you know, or like something catches my eye, or I just know like if we're going to be doing like for example this month we're going to be focusing on manifesting through planets. I'm going to be looking for a deck that does have planets and does have certain things that align with the readings.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Okay.
gonna do the same. I always have my precious, my angel wisdom tarot is always with me. And I also I'm a big fan of the light seers tarot. I keep those two with me pretty close. But if somebody has a blockage, I'll pull out I have this I believe it's Sandra Ann Taylor is the past life
Past life.
oracle, but I don't use it. I mean, I can use it for past lives, but I find it's very on target for when someone has a blockage or some kind of obstacle that they're struggling with that they're not like. So I what I do is I put out the decks that like the ones I'm like, okay, I feel like I might need these ones today. And then I have a guide, Angelica, and she just kind of almost just highlights. Like it's like, Kyle, you need that one. You need that one. Grab that one. And that's what I do when they ask a question, I'm like, okay, yep, I want this one. And that's what I do. And sometimes I'll pull like from two or three different decks too.
Yeah, me too.
So when you use the word blockage, I mean, I think of one thing being working in people's biofields. So I
Mm-hmm.
think, but then you tied in blockage with can't remember the other word that you used with it. So you just mean like they're feeling stuck in life or not knowing what to do in a certain situation they're in, or
Right. So, just an example, let's say you came to us and you were like, I want a relationship, or how do I find a relationship? And Jennifer starts pulling on it and she's like, okay, you need to start doing ways to manifest this person like feng shui and blah blah blah. And I'll say, you know what? Let's look at what's kind of blocking you and why you're struggling with love in the first place too. So that's why I love how we collaborate because the person will get different insights in different parts.
Mhm.
And that's just if I'm feeling called to it. I'll just be like, oh, there's a blockage. I need to kind of figure out like what's kind of their hang up with this. Um and yeah, that's kind of how I use the blockage piece.
Mhm. Is there other types beside the readings? Is there other um, energy work or whatever that you do either with each other or with another person?
A couple of sessions ago, I did do an remote healing. I took in my healing map, and I lined up the crystals for each of the chakras. And as Kyle read for the person, I scanned all their chakras, and I was able to see which ones were blocked I was able to move the energy, and I was actually able to do automatic writing for each of the chakras that were blocked as a message for the person, which I typed up and sent it to them. And I did pull one card. It was from the Wild Offerings with a very specific message for that person. So I've done that, and I'm thinking about doing it again as we head into the fall, of doing another remote healing session.
Yeah, that's cool.
That'd be good for the fall equinox too.
Yeah.
Like a remote healing before they go into like winter season. That can also be, you know, sometimes winter, I think a lot of people kind of get depressed. I don't. I'm the opposite of sad. I get sad in the summer because I'm hot and I can't do anything and I'm miserable like a big old bulldog. I just want to lay in front of a fan. But in the fall, I know a lot of people get depressed. So it'd be good to look at that and get some healing before they go into that.
Hibernation mode.
Good idea for our fall one.
Yeah.
So.
Well, nice. Yeah. So, I was telling Jennifer a little before we had started. I have a course that I offer. It's all recorded right now. I'm not doing anything of it in it live, but it's a evergreen course. But I've incorporated other collaboration with others. So, like I do the biofield sessions. I do an oracle card reading, and these are set up each month, an oracle card reading, and let's see, a short astrology tip thing, and then energy tip, how you can use it in different ways in your home or in your life. And then I have a friend that adds a hypnosis session, another friend that does combines Reiki and meditation, and another friend that adds tapping. And then
nice.
and then I have a nurse that adds nutrition tips, and then another friend that adds financial tips. And so we all combine it around the zodiac for each month. And so that was my way of collaborating or doing that with, because that's kind of how I started into my healing, or found the most of my inner healing, and still do. But you know, because it wasn't just one thing. It was I use several things, and they all bounce off each other, or they all kind of shift a little energy, and then you do the next one and it causes that to shift, and as well as just doing the same one all the time. Right. Yeah.
I love that you have all those different pieces too, because I know a lot of people want financial help. Like I get people coming to me about finances all the time, and I'm like, I can look at like potential and that kind of stuff, but I was like, I'm not a stockbroker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can like look at potentials, but I'm not going to give you financial advice. Like,
you don't want my financial advice,
right?
Like, I can look at like what's it going to look like this summer, like next month. We can look at that kind of stuff. We can look at the obstacles you have around finances, but I can't give you I
can look at your natal chart and I can tell you transits. That's about it.
Right.
So you like when not to spend money, like, oh, watch out for this one, because this is like what I know Jupiter is like right now, a big old bowling ball in my chart right now, wreaking havoc all over. So
that's your sign soon.
So
it's August, right? I think I have August.
Yeah, I think so.
Jupiter stays like a bowling ball till August.
For me.
Oh, for you.
I have to,
so I have to be careful.
I forget when the transit's over.
Yeah. That's what Jennifer found when she did my chart, that Jupiter. So it's just kind of be careful with like make sure you read everything carefully and that kind of stuff. It's almost like I feel like it's like almost like Mercury retrograde, like ongoing. Just be careful and dot your I's and cross your T's kind of thing.
Yeah, I've kind of felt electronics or other types of communication in general, right, was kind of that way.
Oh, Jupiter goes into Cancer on June 9th. I'm just looking at Jasmine's
I thought it was
numerology. Well, your Uranus is going to leave Taurus in August and go into Gemini.
Oh, is that the one that's a bowling ball right now? I thought it was Jupiter. My bad.
Well, you were having your Uranus opposition, so that will be ending for you in
Yay. Like, goodbye, Uranus. Speaking of that, my kids, because my kids call it Uranus, and I'm so used to calling it Uranus because that's just what I grew up on. And they're like, "No, mom, it's Uranus." They get really
It's
offended.
tomato, tomato. I mean,
Right?
whatever. We know who you're talking about.
They get like big mad. They're like very. I don't know. I think it's funny.
So in other ways then, through your life, either in you actually doing it or in experiencing it, receiving from others, in collaborations of different sorts, with other people, or like I said, receiving. Can you recall anything you'd like to share about that?
I'm not really sure what the question is. So, are you talking about not with us, with other people,
Or
or?
both, yeah, or both. I mean,
I mean,
either.
we read for each other all the time.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
we'll leave each other voice memos, and just
I
like
mean,
yeah.
I've done other collaborations, electronically in a sense. I was a founding member of our local state chapter here, but I was really heavy into the informatics community, and that was all collaborative through Zoom meetings, and we had like Google Docs, and we would work on documents that way. I think that one of the key things for collaboration is you need to find you everyone in the group has to be responsible, right? They have to show up, do the work, and there does need to be someone to kind of make sure that things stay on track. And I think one of the things that I didn't know this at first when me and Kyle started working together, later on when I got into her astrology, was me and her complement each other very well. She has very strong Virgo energy, and my son is in the sixth house, which is Virgo's natural home. So me and her work well together in that way. And she also has Capricorn, which is very good at building things and making things happen. And with me, with my Pisces energy, I'm able to have the big visions and the big dreams, and Kyle's able to help me ground them. So I think astrologically, me and her work very well together. So I think like in the future, if I was going to work with someone, I would be like, I need your natal chart to see if this is going to work
Yeah.
out. Um, and if it's, if I still want to work with you, I may be like, I could foresee a couple of things being challenges in the future. Let's work it out. Let's talk about it and see how we both feel, and then like move forward with that. But I think communication is key. And Kyle and I are also busy moms, so understanding that we're both moms and we're busy, we're able to have the ability to give each other grace. Where if you're working with someone who necessarily is not in the same season in life as you, that might be a little hard or challenging. So I think a couple of those things are huge factors in entering a collaborative relationship, especially when there's distance and we have time zone differences too. Like I'm an hour ahead from her, so making sure that we're on the same page time wise, and we don't assume that the other person is understanding when you say, oh, 11 o'clock my time. I'm always like, okay, 12 o'clock my time, 11 o'clock your time is
Mhm.
huge when there's a time difference.
Yeah, yeah, it really is.
Yeah. And we're really great too with coming up, like when we idea bounce off each other, we start just getting all kinds of great ideas. I mean, just as you were just saying, Jennifer, how you're going to do like a collaboration at the shop with magic, that made me think of like, oh my gosh, we should do a series on like spell jars, or because I actually, I created a bunch of like little charm bags for Jennifer, because I'm a witch, so I did some like little charm bags that I made with like herbs and with little crystals and essential oils and intentions. And I did a prosperity. I think I did healing and courage. There's different ones you can make. So I'm like, ooh, we should do like
Yeah.
charm bags and this and that. Just I love like
Yeah.
how we just get very the ideas just flow. We're constantly coming up with different ideas, and we both have different expertise too, which is really cool.
Yeah. Well, like you said, both of you commented on how the um, energy flows. I think th- um, we could also talk about the advantages both of individual sessions or receiving or giving,
Mhm.
right? Either one versus versus having the small group sessions or things, because it's kind of like you had said, the individual, you can go very deep, right, and
Hmm.
specific just to those person's need, which is invaluable, right?
Yeah.
But then on the group hand, it's not necessarily as specifically as deep, but you benefit from that flow of ideas, or that flow of energy, and the consciousness of everyone else tapping into it at the same time. That's a huge
Yes.
benefit. And so
Um,
both are good, right?
Yes.
yes, like our group readings, because we have a lot of great ladies that come. Not to say that men aren't invited. We've only had one guy come, I think. But we have an upcoming male co-host in July, so
Yes.
that'll be fun. So anyway, but yeah, we have a great group of people that come, and the energy is nice. And then we also have a lot of intuitives that come too. So sometimes in the chat, they'll get little extra downloads and they'll type it in for the person that's getting the reading, which is kind of cool. So they get like extra little bonus like hits from the audience. We also record it and we send it, so then you can download it and save it. And we really try to get to everybody. We know as we grow, we're going to start getting more and more people, so that might not always be possible. But right now, our goal is to make sure we give everybody, we give everybody the same amount of time. We try to make sure everybody gets their time to ask questions and their time to be in the hot seat, I guess you would say.
Right. So like your monthly session, then with the group, is it an hour long, 2 hours? What do
It's
you?
2.
2 hours.
Mhm.
So we usually do like a little, like we start off with like a whatever the theme is, talking about the theme. Jennifer usually does a meditation because she's way better at meditations than I am. And then we jump to the readings, and we always have a theme, but we always leave it open where like you can ask a question about the theme, or sometimes we'll come up with a spread that we can do that relates to the theme. Like I remember you had a really cool spread for it. Was it the Black Moon Lilith?
Yeah.
A really cool spread in February. But if somebody's like, you know what, I have a really big question I need some guidance on, you don't have to do the spread or the theme. But we do always kind of put it in the chat so that if they want to do that for themselves, they can too.
Yeah.
Or the spread will be in our landing page too. Usually the
Mm.
different things will answer. But we try to make it so, like, let's say like you come in there and you're like, you know what, cool. Astrology plans is awesome, but I'm really struggling with X, Y, and Z right now. Can we read about that instead? We're like, absolutely. Yeah, we can
Mhm.
absolutely do that.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
How do you think all your for each of you, your I'm all your prior experiences of your life are have shaped what you needed to be able to um, collaborate well, but without feeling so often working with women, like in other workplaces and stuff. It's like chummy, your best friends to your face, and chewing you up and spitting you out when you turn your back, right? It's like, and we can be
Yeah.
so cruel to each other, and it's I think there's being or has been a shift in many people to see that, of receiving it without that competition, or without
Mhm.
that backbiting and things. So, um,
Yeah,
how?
no, I get you. I've had that happen to me a lot in life, and it is not fun. I think with us, it's that I don't know how to explain it. It's just that this is probably going to sound crazy. I feel like Jennifer and I are sisters from past life, and that we just
Yeah.
found each other in this life. And when we do our group readings, we're just stronger together because we bring different things to the table.
Mhm.
I mean, she is great. Like she has all that energy work background, which I am working on, like Reiki and crystal healing, but I'm still kind of a newbie at it. But I am like my connection to the angels. I mean, I am very have a strong connection, and I have like that angelic, side. So I feel like we're almost not like a yin and a yang because we're not complete opposites, but we both just have like different strengths, but then we also have things in common too. And I think we just raise each other up, and when we're reading together, it's not a competition because we're just trying to help the people that we're reading for. And we want people to come to our group and feel safe and nurtured. So, and when it comes to our own businesses, we're in different areas. We don't need to compete, like,
Yeah.
like I refer people to Jennifer.
Yeah. And I refer people to Kyle too. And going back to like the question about like, past experiences, I mean, I worked in so many diverse backgrounds. Like, I was in the military, so I have a military background. I've been in healthcare for 18 years. And I have to say with me, I think because I bring a lot of masculine energy, and I know I've had a lot of past lives where I've been more male than female. I think that I am able to balance some of that toxic femininity energy that comes sometimes with working with women. And I know for me this year, because I do struggle with feminine. So I do work on bringing in more of the positive quality of the feminine energy. And this year I've chosen to live Venus, which is, as feminine of a planet as you're going to get for an entire year. So I'm working on embodying that Venus feminine energy. And Venus is about relationships, and it's about harmony, and it's about balance, and it's about, when you look at the planets that she rules, right, you have Taurus, which is very grounded, very practical, very, it's fixed energy, but it's also very good at being able to, go for things that have meaning, value, and purpose. And then we look at Libra is balanced because it experiences the extremes. So I think because I've had extremes in my life, I know how to quickly find my balance in the middle. So, and Kyle and I are very good about talking about things. So like something doesn't sit well, she'll say, hey, Jen, can we talk about this? Or I'll say to her, hey, this didn't go as well. Can we talk about how we can, make it better? So I think the fact that we're able to communicate to each other and not feel the need that we need to go talk to someone else when things are not harmonious in our partnership helps a lot.
One thing that Jennifer is really great at is like making me feel safe. Like I can confide, like she's like, you're safe with me. Like you can tell me. So there was one time that we had to move a reading and we were going to get someone else to co-host. And I was like, don't do that topic. I want to do that topic. And she's like, okay, thank you for telling me that. And just not being mad and passive aggressive about it. Like, well, she didn't say that, but but thank you for telling me, okay, I'll do a different topic and we'll save that one because I know you want to do it. And I just, and that was hard for me to kind of be like, and I literally wrote, I was like, please don't do that without me. Like a little kid, but
it was important to you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But we just, you just have to just make sure that you feel safe confiding and talking to each other kind of thing. So I can get really, not, I don't want to say offended, but I can get like, depending on the feedback and how the feedback is given, I can get defensive. So Jennifer knows how to handle me with like kid gloves.
Well, I'm the same way. I mean, I think it goes to, there's a very fine line between constructive criticism and breaking somebody down, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that you need to ask yourself, what is the intention of my communication and delivering it with kindness. In healthcare, we always joke about like the shit sandwich. Like, you give the compliment, you say what's bad, and then you buffer it with continue to do the good thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm really good with that. And it works. I mean, even with me, it works because, people want to hear you're doing really great. Mm-hmm. Just improve on this and continue to be great at that. I think it's, again, because what is your goal in the communication? And my goal is never to break anyone down. My goal is to like, how can we do better together? And realizing that I am part of the equation. I'm part of the energy. I'm bringing stuff into this. It's not just the person, right? So, and understanding what your partnership requires, like with, both of us, not just Kyle, I need to feel safe too. right? I need safety in the relationship to come to you and say, this is not working, and to know that I'm going to be received with, okay, thank you for telling me, how can we make it better, versus like, well, that sounds like a you problem. Well, no, when you're in a partnership, there is not a you, it's an us, right? So I think it's very important to be mindful of that, especially if you want to be successful. And both of us want to be able to help others. And I think that's key. Our why is unified, which is we want to help others.
Well,
And
and
it's okay.
I was just thinking how often, for all of us, I think that defensiveness that comes up is our own um, inner healing needs, right? Or
Hmm.
our own fragmented selves that are are still needing our healing touch, right? And our attention, and it gives opportunities to heal as we have that. But so I think for all of us as in the healing or the energetic realm, right, we can see in different eyes than the standard healthcare of how it all shifts together and how we need to change to continue to how we need to heal so that our healing capacity in helping others increases. So,
That's incredibly profound. Yeah. And another thing too is that whenever we have like constructive feedback, it's never about our reading or our ability. Like I wouldn't, I mean, because we trust each other completely with that. It's more like, hey, let's do this topic this month, or you know what, I don't know if we should tackle this. Let's split it up. I think my most, I think, constructive criticism one time was like, hey, we need to, like, you had a topic idea, and I was like, girl, we need to break that up into like 3 topics. And that was like, that's like, I think that's like the like, and I was just like, because we can do this with this and this with this, and that's like also the beauty of our collaboration too. And it wasn't offensive. You're just like, oh yeah, yeah, totally. So I was like, we can do this, and then with this one we can do this, and we can do this, and then instead of having 1 month of content, it's like 3 months of content, kind of topic
yeah.
ideas, So I think that was like the most like feedback, I think, like, for me.
Yeah.
So that's like another thing too. It's like we don't really have. It's like we're really lucky. We don't really run into like issues like that. It's mostly just like topic ideas.
Well,
Yeah.
while you were talking, the idea that came, I was going to pose this question: where each of us are healers, right? And we each have
Hmm.
our own work that we do. We're also each in long-term relationships, right?
Hmm.
Love relationships, not just work relationships. And so, how easy is it for you then? Is it much easier to have that give and take and communication with each other as you're working on business stuff versus with your partner? And when things perhaps get more, I don't know, specifically intimate, right? As
Hmm.
on topics and more vulnerability in many ways. So how do you combine the good of how you collaborate with each other in business to collaborating with our spouses or our partners? That just came to me. It's very important too,
Yeah.
right? It,
Oh no,
it's
definitely.
it's life
I
changing
think
for each of us, right? As
Hmm.
well as for the
yeah.
world.
I think that these skill sets are transferable. I think sometimes as humans we like to compartmentalize or complicate things, right? So I think that if you have a solid foundation in relationships in general, that are built on trust, communication, and you take your partner on that journey with you, because I think sometimes as healers or people doing healing work, we get so self-focused, not in a bad way. Like we're doing some heavy lifting, some heavy stuff, that we sometimes just assume that our partners are with us. But if you look to the side of you, you'll notice that they're like 10 feet behind you. I think that you have to be responsible to make sure that as you're doing the healing, you're checking in on your the people around you. Because it's not just like for me, like I have children, right? And I'm also a generational healer. So I'm doing this massive amount of work. It's very important for me to check in to make sure that my partner's still with me. And I think a huge part of that is communication and communicating with them in a way that they understand. Just because you open your mouth and words fall out of them, you can't just always assume that they landed well or the person understood it. It's a constantly checking in. And even with the group readings and the time that I need to take away from my family to do the stuff for the business is like checking in, like, hey, are you okay with this? Not just assuming that my partner is there to watch watch our children while I'm taking time away to go do the readings. It's like, hey, me and Kyle were very good at planning almost the entire year to give our spouses that heads up and that respect for them to know, hey, I'm going to need you to be here for me as I step away from my parenting responsibilities for 2 hours out of the day or whatever, and just for me it's a constant check-in to make sure that they understand. Or even if I can't, because there's times as when I do some kind of healing and clearing where I need to check out for like a day because it's that intense. Is to be like, hey, are you okay? Like, I need this. What do you need? Do we need to call in someone else to step in for me while I'm taking the time to recuperate from whatever just happened? I think it's important not to assume or have, expectations. I always say I approach all of my relationship with agreements. We are agreeing to do this together, not so much, oh, well, you are, my spouse, or you're my business partner, or you're my sister, or whatever. I expect these things from you. No, like, this is what I'm hoping we can agree to, and then leave room for the person to say, no, that doesn't work for me. Can we try that?
Yeah. Beautiful. I think we all need reminders of that
It's
in
hard. It's
in
very
home.
hard.
It can be. And what was coming to me, like I don't know for sure your guys' ages, but I'm probably 20 years older. I'm just guessing, maybe more. And it's like it made me realize. Of course, I started the energy work late in life. I had multiple other careers, and then came into something totally opposite, different and opposite and new to me. Many things that years before were like voodoo or too much woo woo for me or
Yeah.
anything, and suddenly I realized, oh, it's all real, it's all true, and I feel it, and I can do it, so it was a huge life change for me. But in listening to you guys, it makes me very thankful. You have to again thank the technology that we have now in many
Yeah.
ways that allowed you guys as much younger sisters of mine, right? That where you could come into that, it was available for you to come into it so much earlier than it was for me in general. There's pockets of people that are able to find it at any age, real young, but it's so great that more and more people can start early and know about it. And like you said, Jennifer, earlier, in training or in nurturing the more of the true aspects, because there's a bunch of junk information out there too,
Yeah,
right?
there is, and I mean that's the beauty, right? So what everything there's a light and a shadow, right? So technology brings us together, but it also brings a lot of energy, and not all that energy is clean. And this is the thing, like people think, oh, well, it's just technology. No, technology has the same aspects to it as humans do, right? And there's viruses, just like we get viruses, technology gets viruses. Now with the AI, we're bending the line of what's real, what's not real. Am I talking to a real person or am I talking
Right.
to a bot? So I think more than ever, we need to flex that muscle of discernment. And now, technology gives a platform to everyone, people with good intentions, people with not so good intentions, people that have their own agendas. people that want to spread fear versus love. So it's very, I mean, it's I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like before technology, people had more of the luxury of staying hidden, staying within their little groups, and not coming out of the spiritual closet. But I feel like now with this technology, people are being pushed into the light, are being pulled out of the spiritual closets, because we don't have the luxury anymore to hide. Because if we continue to hide, or we don't continue to, teach, people are going to take that and they're going to twist in whichever direction they want. And I think that right now, especially with Saturn having been in Pisces for so long, which is Pisces of spirituality, is us connecting to source. Saturn is saying, okay, how are you going to take responsibility for this? How are you going to be accountable? How are you going to build something that's lasting and sustaining? And with that comes responsibility. And, I always say, like, it's like we have to answer the call more than ever now, because I experience it all the time. Like, people will come to me and ask me stuff like, oh, I saw a post that, yoga is demonic. I'm like, what? I'm sorry. What? How is this demonic? I don't understand. Are you drawing symbols? And I don't, it's like stuff like that. And in my response to stuff like that is, there is people out in the world that would always try to say that anyone that can access whatever they believe to be their source, their universe, their creator, whatever you want to call it, if you don't go through a middle person, you can do that yourself, it's automatically labeled something. And I'm like, no, that's misinformation. So I have to always be willing to step up and speak. And, I don't have the luxury to be afraid anymore of, hide because I'm afraid to be seen. Like, no, I need to be seen. My light needs to be shining, and I need to be that beacon of light for others that are really want to understand and lean into their practices without the fear that other people try to put in them.
Yeah, I think different religion throughout the years, I know in my life, played a big part in how I perceived things as too much woo woo, or
Yes, me too.
and um, not to bash religion or religious beliefs, because in every experience in our lives are like stepping stones to get us toward where we need to be. And so my religious growing up and experiences were invaluable in many ways. And it, but it was, you have to be brave enough to step beyond, to think for yourself, or to find out, to reflect on differences, and how you believe or how you feel about it, what is as true to you at that time, what is as close to the mindset of God or the mindset of source energy, right? That doesn't have that backbiting and hierarchical tiers of ladder climbing, where everyone is free to express yourself, and abundance is there for everybody, right? And
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
yeah, and Jennifer and I actually have like some different thoughts on different things, which is cool because I can't remember what was. There was one thing where you're like, oh yeah, this, I think it's like this, and I'm like, oh wow, that's really interesting. I actually think it's like this, and we're like, cool. And I can't remember what the topic was. I had to look through our text messages. It might have been the golden future we were talking about.
Good. Yeah.
What we think is going to happen in the golden future, and what's going to happen when people that have like the low frequency can't evolve to the, is it third dimension or fifth dimension? Are we going to the third
fifth.
or fifth? The fifth dimension.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're going to be, we have different thought processes of like what's going to happen when you can't evolve. And then there was something else we had different things about. Like, I know like Jennifer's really big into like the star, like believing like we come from like the stars, right?
The starseed system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me, that doesn't like resonate at all, but that doesn't mean it's not true. For me, I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, that's really interesting. No, but I feel like, or maybe it's just that I have never experienced that, or I don't bring that past life has not like come through it all. And maybe if I do a meditation, who's to say if I do a meditation, I'm not going to get all kinds and be like, oh yeah, okay. That's why I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, we can all only see life through our own experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through how our own life, both our traumas as well as the supportive things we've had, have shaped our lives. We can
Mm-hmm.
only see through our own, and so say like past lives or other, any of those topics. It's we might even be talking about the exact same thing. But Jennifer, you're talking about it as star seeds, and I'm talking about it from the ancestral perspective, and
Yeah.
Kyle's talking about it from the angel perspective. And we're using different words and different symbols and different um, meanings, but we're talking about the same thing because
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about it from our own, where we all come from. So how in those cases, like, I mean, yes, it's so important, right, to be open and just to listen and hear and say, oh, that's interesting, I wonder if, or how, or whatever. But it's also interesting to see, well, how can we all see them so different, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, especially say, on the political agenda. That's just an example of
Mm-hmm.
what I'm meaning of, say, some of the Democrats and some of the Republicans. They can say the exact same thing using the same words, but they're saying it about different people or different situations, and it's I don't know if and that probably wasn't a good example. It's because we're seeing things from different perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we can use the same words or the same ideas. But so how do you know if you're talking about the same thing or talking about something different?
I know for me, I feel it. I could feel it. And I think for me, when I have these conversations, I had to be very mindful to not approach it with ego and the need to be right. Right. I need to approach it from a point of curiosity and wanting to learn, and to look at it of like, how is it that we're trying to say the same thing? And being okay with saying, I hear what you're saying, it's just not resonating with me, but I'm curious to still learn more, because maybe down the line you may say something that I'm like, oh, well, you're calling it that and I'm calling it this,
Yeah.
and we're talking about the same thing.
Hmm.
I think that as a society right now, everyone wants to be right. They just want to be right, and they want to be validated. And I mean, this is probably a whole separate podcast, but I think a lot of this has to do with the unhurt childhood wounds, inner wounding. I think a lot of us, their inner childs are coming out, like, see me, hear me, I want to be right, validate me. But meanwhile, it's like, no, we're dealing with big adult topics that really need adults to show up to the table, not unhealed children that are the
Hmm.
ones that are showing up to the table. So I think that by us being able to agree to disagree, or agree that at this point we're not there, but we could get there, we lead the way for other people to be able to have healthy conversations that don't lead into a whole, well, I'm right, you're wrong. How about is that we're both right on what we believe in? And I can say to Kyle, I may not understand what you're saying, but I believe that you believe in that. And
Hmm.
that's enough for me
Hmm.
at the moment.
Right. Um, I lost my train of thought. Darn, I had this, what I thought was an interesting question. Um, Shoot. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know, like when I'm reading for somebody or talking, I'll be like, "This is what I've heard. This is what I believe. This is what I've read." I always kind of phrase it that way, like, "This is kind of what I was taught," and blah blah blah, and like it kind of takes it off. It's like, "This is the fact." You know what I mean? I always kind of phrase it as, I taught this, or I was taught that, or I read this, or this is how I understand it." I kind of put it like on me, so that it's like, and then like, and everybody has their own thought process kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, now I remember my thing, and it's I can say it without forgetting it again. But I was applying it to how important what you were saying, both of you referred to the importance of the astrology, of the stars and their transits. Right now, I think I know it was what, no, 6 or 8 different major star transits within a 9-month period that won't occur for another, huge number of years before all those would occur at the same time again, and all shifting and transitioning at the same time. And I think, isn't it that is bringing up the inner children in us to heal?
Yeah,
It's bringing
definitely
up a
for
lot.
sure.
And so when if we see the inner children in ourself, or those reactions in others, really it's a good thing, right? Everything works for our good in the universe, and so those two are for our healing too, and to help others heal.
I think
Absolutely.
all the planet stuff is trying to like get us to like take care of our stuff and drop our baggage and heal what needs to be healed, because it's all preparing us for the golden future. And we're going to have to evolve. In order to be able to evolve, we're going to have that healing. We're going to have better understanding of humans and more compassion and empathy. You're not going to be able to you're going to have like a higher vibration, which I know is kind of an overused term, but that's how
It's true. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
It's true.
physiological thing. It's a physiological thing.
And I
How
think that's all that it's getting out all the junk right now. It's getting like the anger out. People have to like face their anger, face their demons, and face all these things so they can heal. So that because it's shifting. Like Pluto is in the age. Is it Pluto? It's in the age of the Aquarius, or in Aquarius. We are
Well,
in the
it's an
age of Aquarius.
Aquarius now. Yeah.
Right. So this is the age of Aquarius, and everything. How I learned it is everything from that song by the fifth dimension. Oddly enough, is what's going to happen in the next few years, according to Diana Cooper and some other big intuitives in the industry. So all these planet shifts, I know, are like way off topic. All these planet shifts are getting everything out, and it's like making it's almost like the full moon, where all this craziness happens. It's just intense, and it's just trying to get us all to heal and grow so we can transition to like this world of peace and love. And
But actually, you're not off topic at all, because our topic for the day was on collaboration and the universe, all the stars, right? All the sun, the planets, sun, moon, and stars are, I call them wandering stars instead of planets. But that the whole universe, the entire universe is working in our favor. It's collaborating with us to get us where we need to be. And so that's perfectly on topic as far as I'm concerned, because it's right, it's part of life. How are you going to take what life throws at you, right? What the vibrations bring, and ask, how can I work with you instead of against you?
I love that.
I do too.
So maybe that's a good place to end for today. So, do you guys have anything else you'd like to say, or you want to give the times for your event on Sunday or whatever? Or
Oh yeah, so it's if you're in Central Time, it's 1 to 3,
And Eastern time is 2 to 4.
and I
and
think California is 11 to 1, right? It's
Yeah,
California.
they're 3 hours behind.
and
Yeah, for me anyway.
and the link is below in the
Yeah.
description. So anyone do they have to join the Facebook group to
No,
get in on that? No. Okay.
no, they can just sign up on the link. And then for this topic is going to be focusing on manifesting through your astrological blueprint. So I'm going to be focusing on 4 major planets and how they help you with manifesting, or how they may be challenging you in your manifestation process, depending on what kind of aspects they may be forming with each other or with other planets in your charts, in your chart.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. Kyle, you have anything you want to add?
No, I'm excited because I'm going to break out my planet cards and kind of look and see like what planet you need to work with, or it could also be a message from a sign. Like, so Jennifer, like she said, she's working with Venus, and I was like, which planet should I work with? and I did the cards, and I've been getting signs I need to balance like for months now. And instead of getting a planet, I got a sign, Libra. So that means I'm not meant to work with a planet right now. I'm meant to work on balance and harmony in my own life right now and almost embody Libra instead of
Yeah.
embody a planet.
Hmm.
So we're gonna do cards on that to see like what planet or what you should be embodying, and I can also we can look at blockages for manifesting and that kind of stuff, or any other questions you would like to ask.
All right, very good. Well, thank you, Jennifer and Kyle, for being on the podcast today and having a sharing of what you do and helping us all work for the highest good of all, right?
Yes.
Thank
Thank you so much for
you.
having us.
Thank
And thank you
you.
all for watching. Whenever it is you're watching, we appreciate you. And let's see if I can find my little banner. Please like and subscribe to help us grow. And we'll talk to you later.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Bye.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.